You are watching NCN.
Afternoon and welcome to ChildLink's discussion. This afternoon, I am Tiana Jordan and I'm the Advocacy and Communications Officer at ChildLink. This afternoon will be focused on a very important topic. Our topic for this afternoon is stress and mental well-being in young adults. And this afternoon's discussion falls under our Communities Responding in Emergencies project, which is funded by the delegation of the European Union in Guyana. And now, this afternoon, of course, who better to speak on this topic than young adults? I have with me four beautiful young ladies. Good afternoon, ladies. How are you doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon.
Yes, it's great to have each of you here. Can we start by each of you giving a brief introduction of yourselves? Maybe you can start.
Hello, my name is Dominique Gonzalez and I am a youth advocate, so it's a pleasure being here this evening.
It's great having you also.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Eeshwari Lall and I'm a youth ambassador of the Breadfruit Collective.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. I'm Christine Samwaroo and I'm the founder and managing director of the Breadfruit Collective.
It's great to have you here. And finally,
Hi, my name is Angel Webster and I am a youth volunteer and upcoming feminist, a part of the Breadfruit Collective. So great to be here.
thank you very much for such wonderful introductions, and I really do look forward to our conversation this afternoon on stress and mental well-being in young adults. Now, I want to hear, maybe we can go with Angel first. How would you describe stress?
I would describe stress as being in a state of emotional or physical worry or somewhat discomfort. It can be a difficult situation that we're going through, and it is something that we all experience at one point or the other. It can be of a day, of a week, but we all do experience it. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything you would like to add to maybe what Angel?
Yeah, like she said, it's mental tension caused by something you're not comfortable with. So yes, that would just be my add on that.
Okay. What about you,
I
Christine?
definitely agree with both of our friends here, and I want to say that stress is a natural part. Everyone faces it, but persistent stress can be very, very detrimental to the body.
Okay, thank you very much. I guess you agree with what our
Yes, I
colleagues are
do.
saying. Yes. What are some of the primary causes of stress for young adults today? I know there are a lot of reasons for stress, and some of these reasons, a lot of persons might not believe that it is what is causing stress. So, Ishwari?
Sure. I think one of the primary causes of stress in young persons today is definitely academic stress. And thinking about the earth-wise and climate change, I think one of those things is heat that causes stress and causes a problem for them to focus.
I really like that you pointed out academic stress. What about you, Angel?
Um, I would say stress can be caused for young adults with families, that is, persons that have children of their own. I would definitely say they can be having relationship stress, whether it be marital, it could be going through a divorce or a breakup. It sometimes our children can actually stress us out. Not in a bad way or anything, but it is true. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes parents can stress out children also.
That is
What about you, Dominique?
So just adding from what you were saying, so when you're finished with your academics, you go into the world of work. That can also cause stress, starting from maybe you're not perfect at work, maybe you have a difficult manager. All these things, they all add up to stress over time. Academic and work, and as she was saying, also parental stress. Maybe your parents have their own stress that they're dealing with that can go on to you, or maybe you're stressing over what they're expecting from you. So it all ties in at the end of the day. Work stress, academic stress, parental stress, yes.
Yes, and Christine, I know you do a lot of work with young adults, and what are maybe some of the causes of stress that you would notice in some of these young people?
Yeah, it's really important to note that we're living in constant emergency in the world. There's so much that's going on worldwide, and within our own country. There's so much tension. So take it into consideration, the state of the world can be a lot in addition to the day-to-day stress that you might find or you might feel individually. You also have to think about the stress that we're constantly under with the news and so on.
Yes, definitely. When it comes to signs and so on that persons can look out for, what signs should these young people look out for, to know if maybe their stress is becoming too much to handle, or maybe if they're stressed at all, because sometimes they may not even know that it's stress. Yeah. Ishwari?
Sure, I think one of those signs that you can look out for is health related issues such as like headaches and high blood pressure, hypertension. Oftentimes you find that persons say that young persons shouldn't have health related issues and shouldn't be stressed and shouldn't have those sort of things, but I think that is one of the things you should look at.
Thank you very much.
Or like physical, you'll feel like you have a low performance of work, or you don't feel like doing anything at all. Someday you wake up and you just have this feeling like, I'm just gonna stay in my bed because the world is coming against me. But then it's just stress, and we just have to deal with it. But then sometimes you don't know it's stress. You just think, okay, this is how I'm feeling, but you're actually stressing.
Definitely. Is there anything you want to add to that, Christine?
Oh, I think they covered it pretty well. I think definitely noticing how your body feels is really important to understand the signs, and programs like this that you're sharing the information so that people who may not relate to it, you may not have that connection, like stress can actually make me feel that way. They might be able to look at this program and see.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it can be a simple headache. Sometimes you don't feel like getting out of bed. So I like that you're bringing out these signs that young people can look out for. Um, when it comes to strategies, now I want to hear, from you guys, what can young adults do in order to cope with stress? I know there are different strategies we can use. So Dominique.
So I'm talking from my own experience and
Yes.
friends. I'd like to say my own experience. So some things that really help me is planning and to have a routine. I usually have a routine, but it's not easy to always stick to that routine. But when you stick to that routine, everything flows. You wake up, you go with your routine, and it really helps. Fall off of routine, it gets very stressful because everything is coming all together. So I would say plan, have a routine, yeah, and just stick to your routine. And it will not always be on routine, but try as much as possible to stick to that routine. Routine helps.
Definitely. Dominique would have mentioned routine. What about you, Angel? What do you think young people can do to cope with stress?
Well, I would definitely say it's important to have persons that we trust and that we can reach out to when we're feeling stressed. It can be your mom, dad, parents, basically friends. You can have some persons are religious, so you can reach out to your faith-based organization for help. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Christine, is there anything you would like to add, maybe from your personal
Yeah.
experience also that you could...
Definitely. I think you mentioned or being organized and having
Yes.
a plan. I
Yes.
think that's something that helps me. It's also important to be flexible because things always change, however, and I think for me, because I'm involved with youth development, because I care about the environment, all the programming that I have with my organization, I always have mental health, wellness as part of the core of the program, because I understand that young people today, they're dealing with so many different things, and for me to bring in all these social justice issues, it's really important for me to understand and help them understand that it's important to take care of our mental health and give them the tools, equip them with the skills to be able to do that, and definitely also providing a community for them, a community of like-minded people where they can share and be comfortable speaking about how they're feeling.
Yes, definitely. And I want to hear from you guys, maybe Dominique, was there a point in time where you maybe had to deal with academics and working at the same time? Because I know this is something that a lot of young people would have to deal with, like especially if they're going to UG and then they would have to work a full-time job, maybe how they can deal with that stress of having to balance work life and academics.
Like I said, it for me it always lead back to the routine and the planning, because from the time you wake up and you have your plan, it is gonna flow. She said there gonna be emergency and all of that, but just plan everything. Okay, I have a class. This time is my class. Let's just say I have something big to do at work today. Let me get that out of the way this morning, so I could accommodate my class this evening. Planning, strictly planning. And she mentioned to have trustworthy persons. Not everybody have a parent that they trust. Like we have parent issue also, as mentioned previously. But with the technology these days, we have like agencies online where you can chat. You don't know who is behind the chat, so you could put all your stuff there and they respond back. So I just want to add that on for her. So yeah, that would be it.
Yes, Christy?
You know, the Breadfruit Collective, we really work with a lot of amazing people, and I actually am always so proud of Angel because not only is she a student, she's also a mom, and she also works. So I think this is a perfect question for you, Angel.
Wow, impressive.
Yes, this is amazing.
Alright, so for me, to keep a balance, there is always help from family, which makes it a lot easier for me. But when it comes to work and study, usually planning is always important, having a timetable. You know, this time you're gonna do studies, from this time to this time you're at work. So you're focusing on that.
Yeah, I think that's a great line there.
Yes.
A timetable. Well, I don't study anymore, so I don't have the timetable. But previously, I would literally do a timetable and add work, cleaning, cooking. The timetable really
Maybe
helped.
some leisure time.
Yes,
Because, you know, we always have to
and
find time for
or
fun.
just writing down your stuff. Writing really helped with me. I know a lot of technology, your phone and stuff, but I still get my notebooks
Yeah,
and I
same.
still write.
That's
Yeah.
so true.
Yes.
When it comes to, I know, you know, you're all mentioning that you should have someone that you trust, a support system, and so on. So when it comes to key individuals and support systems, you know, that these young people can turn to when they need help, who should they go to? Yeah.
So I think, go ahead.
Okay. I think they can go to like join organizations and community. In that way, they connect with different people and they see other perspectives to certain situations and they know how to deal with it better and find solutions.
Thank you.
Oh, exactly what she was saying. So maybe I can look at something from my perspective, and I'm seeing it that, oh, this is a big stress, and yeah. But then maybe someone can come and explain it differently, like a different understanding, and then you realize it is a stress, but it's not how big as I'm making it out to be. So having someone there to counsel you is like actually a great idea, and like she mentioned, joining groups because you see things from others people's perspective. It's not all. I mean, it's always that deep, but then sometimes it's not.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
you mentioned counseling. I like that you brought up that point because, you know, I want to hear, especially from Christine, why is it so important that persons seek professional help, you know, when they're going through mental health issues and so on?
Yeah, I think this is a really important question. And you know, we talk about mental health, and for the most part, the conversation on mental health has definitely been more popular these years, and it's amazing for people to talk about mental health. But it's important to understand that not all of us are trained to be professional mental health counselors and psychiatrics and psychologists and so on. So it's important that when we're facing certain issues, it's important that we seek professional help by trained people because the issues that we face, especially if it's persistent issue, it's really necessary that we go to the right people to get the right answers. And if you need medication, that's also something that's really important. It's important to get the advice from somebody that's trained in the field.
Yeah, and I think also this is the perfect time to bring up, you know, maybe you can say how the Breadfruit Collective, you know, how do they help other persons?
Yeah.
Maybe go in depth in some of the services and so on that you guys offer.
Yeah, so we definitely work and really try to highlight the counselors that are available in Guyana. I would say that I wish there were more. They're quite limited, but the people that we try as much as possible to build our relationship with counselors and psychologists in Guyana. And at the same time, when we have programming, like I mentioned, we have wellness at the center. So encouraging people to seek out the resources because what we find a lot of time, because it's so difficult to find certain information, people may not know of the services that are out there. So on our website, we have a tab whereby you can find the psychologist, mental health services in Guyana, both free services and also those of like a private person.
Yeah, I really like that you guys, are offering these kind of services and persons can just go to your website and so on. Maybe you can share your website.
Yeah, so it's the Breadfruit Collective, and on the website it would just be the Breadfruit Collective at gui.com.
Yes. So, Angel, if you have a friend, and maybe they're facing stress or another mental health issue, why would you encourage them to seek professional help?
Okay, so it's important, like Christine was mentioning, that you reach out to somebody who is more qualified. Um, However, if you just sit there on facing these stress and just putting more on your plate, after some point it will become super overwhelming, and that can lead to your health getting worse, or whether it's chronic or just physical health. Um, so yeah, you definitely reach out so that that does not become worse or something that you are gonna have to deal with prolonged.
And what about you, Dominic? You want to add something to this?
Yeah. So we can advise our friends, but then if it's severe, then I would suggest professional help, like she's mentioned, because sometimes we advise our friends and we're not like clear on the topic. We could contradict things also. So yeah, I would suggest professional help for the same reason.
Yeah, and when it comes to professional help, also, persons might kind of don't want to go to seek professional help because, sometimes I think what counselors need to understand is that confidentiality is very important, and maybe that's one of the reasons that an individual may not want to seek out counseling services. So, they need to do their research, find out who to go to. ChildLink is a very good organization. So, of course, I encourage persons to reach out to us at any time if you're going through any mental health issue or any other issue as it regards to maybe abuse and so on. ChildLink is definitely the organization to reach out to. This one here, it's a very big issue when it comes to sleep. It really affects our mental health. It can, cause a lot of stress and so on. So, it's very important when managing stress. What should young adults do to ensure that they get adequate sleep? I know a lot of young people today would get caught up in the internet. They would be scrolling for hours sometimes. So what can they do to have that balance?
That can be like very dynamic since you just bring in the social media aspect. However, it also leads back to planning personal experience here. If I come home and I know what I have to do to get to go to bed like 9:30 and get my 8 hours in, I can either stick to my plan or I can scroll social media. So once you stick to that plan, you sleep, then you wake up on time. Sometimes without the planning, I would wake up and you had to wake up extra early because you didn't plan from the night before. So it's like rushing and all sort of thing. But then once you put that plan and you go to bed early, you wake up, you already plan things from the day before. So I mean from the night before. So it would flow. So for me, I would stick to the planning for this also.
What about you, Ishwari?
I like how she mentioned the organizing. I think that's important, how you organize yourself and your time management. Oftentimes,
Definitely.
oftentimes some children, some young adults or young persons would like to study during the night and sleep early in the morning, while some like to study early in the morning and sleep in the night. So it depends on how you organize yourself and which is better for you.
Yes, and Christine, what about if they have trouble sleeping?
Yeah, that is a common problem, insomnia, and also how it's so hot these days. I think definitely it's individualistic. I think definitely having a bedtime routine where maybe you try to prepare yourself for bed, like how we prepare ourselves to go to work. So maybe you eat at a certain time, you put your phone away, you maybe meditate or have some breathing exercises, and maybe some people find that reading before bed helps. So I think it's very individualistic. And I remember we were talking about this topic, and Angel was also mentioning that she listened to rain noises.
Yes, I have a friend like
Yes.
that.
Yeah, it's really important. Maybe you want to share a little bit about this and how it
So
helps you.
personally, I listen to rain songs. It does help me sleep faster. Like, I just feel really relaxed and at peace. It's like mindfulness. It's like doing a meditation before bed, except you're just listening to literally the rainfall. So yeah, that's really helpful.
Yeah, and I think a lot of persons also, they don't know the importance of simple things like meditation, Maybe they're saying that, oh, it can't help them, but if they try it, maybe it would. Um, and this all comes under the concept of self-care. What you know other than maybe meditation and so on, what other self-care activities can young people engage in to help them with their stress and promote overall mental well-being? Angel.
Alright, self care can mean a lot of things. Most of the time, young adults or most persons tend to think that, oh, it's going on a fancy date or going to a fancy spa, but self care can actually just be you listening to some music that you like. It helps you to relax. It can be going out in nature, just going for a walk. It can be exercising, reading a book. There are so many things that you can do for self care, like literally just watch a TV series. It can help you to relax. Like just take the pressure out of your mind, and comedy, you'll laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. So yeah, those are some simple self care tips.
Yeah, when it comes to looking at series and comedy and so on, I get you there. What about you, Dominique?
I think, like she's mentioned, everyone would have their version of what they refer to as self care, but as long as it leads to happiness and relaxation, I think it can be anything. For me, I like the gym, or sometimes just simple staring at the sunset. That is self care for me. Like the skies in the afternoon, I would stare at the taxi window. Like, okay, so a lot of people like to stress through the traffic. If the sun is going down, I would just stare. I would just stare at the sunset.
Yeah, and I know persons, watching this afternoon, they're probably gonna be like, oh, so that's self care. Yeah.
Simple things.
Yes. What about you,
I think you can
Eeshwari?
simply do like walks in nature or journaling. Like in our organization, Miss Christine will always tell us that it's important to connect with nature. You see how you should be grateful for things. And she also send us like little things to write, little topics to write on, like how can you be more appreciative of what your body is doing. So I think it really helps you to pay more attention to yourself and be like, oh, you should be really thankful for yourself. Care
Yes.
yourself more.
Yeah, and I think this is what persons need to start doing, telling themselves, maybe manifestation and writing little notes to themselves. And I like that you brought up journaling because, writing is something that I love, and this is what I actually do to, deal with stress. Basically cope with everyday activities. Maybe in the afternoons you reach home, you came home a bit stressed, you had a stressful day. Journaling is something I that really really helps me. So I want to hear from each of you now. Maybe what would you like to add? Some final comments.
So for me, I would think one of my favorite quotes, not remembered by who. There's nothing new under the sun. So whatever you're going through, someone else somewhere is going through it. But stick to positivity. Try the most for positivity. Cause on my bad days, I tell myself, okay, positive vibe, and I'm gonna get through the day. So stick with positivity.
Yes, and a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
people
it
don't
for
really
me.
get that because they like I met a person and they was like, oh, don't tell me to be positive. I like that you brought. What about you,
Yes.
Angel?
Sorry.
Sure.
It's
Sorry, mixing you
okay.
up.
I think my last point would be like be careful and mindful of your stress and the amount you intake. It can lead to your mental health. So I think it's important that you seek counseling or whatever there is you need, and do something that you enjoy or do something that you can cope with. Do something that you can cope with.
Okay, and Angel.
Alright, so I would definitely say with Ishwari, it's okay to take a break. You don't always need to feel the need to, like you're left out. I know a lot of young people these days, they actually feel like they're somehow getting left behind. So they always try to do every little thing that there is, but it's important. Mental health is important, your well being is important. So you always need to ensure that you find ways to take care of yourself while doing all of this.
Yes, I like that. And now, Christine, I give you the opportunity to maybe make your final comments, leave some advice with us young people, and tell us maybe you want to share again about what you do at the Breadfruit Collective and so on.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and ChildLink is one of those services that we have listed on our website. I think when you think of mental health, when you think of self-care, it's important to understand that just like your regular physical health, your mental health. We all have it. So it's important, similarly how you would take care of your physical health, it's important to take care of your mental health. Self-care doesn't mean you have to spend money. It's all about taking care of yourself, and the same things that we teach our children to eat nutritious food, drink enough water, sleep. Those are all self-care. And I think it's really important to also, gratitude is really important. There's many studies that show like when you are listing out the things you're grateful for, or having a gratitude list, your brain actually changes. It's not, you're not able to think about all the other things because you're thinking about so many things you're grateful for. And I think surrounding yourself with a community, I think for young women especially, and young people in general, they really need to find good community of people that share values, people they can look up to and be inspired by. Because I also want to say that living in Guyana, knowing our history, knowing the current realities is a very difficult place, but it's necessary that we equip our young people with all the skills. And mental health is something that they're facing. And I think definitely find your community as much as you do individual work on yourself, like journaling, getting your sleep, making sure you have a timeline, and you stick to your routine. It's also important to have a community of people to support you, because we heal in community.
Yes.
And a little bit about the Breadfruit. It's the Breadfruit Collective. It's an NGO in Guyana that aims to work at the intersection of gender and climate justice. And when I talk about the intersections, it means like looking at issues such as gender-based violence, looking at issues like mental health, youth development, education, reproductive justice. We really believe that these issues are connected, and we need to equip people with all the skills they need to be able to deal with it. And I really do believe most of our work we do, it's community based, whereby we're partnering with people, we're working together to get the most out of the resources that we have. So I definitely encourage persons to keep updated with us on social media, join us for our public programming, and stay up to date. And they can always reach out for any support, and as much as I can provide, we will.
Yes, and how can they reach out to you guys? Is there a number they can call? Maybe you want to share your social media handles also?
Yes, definitely on all social media's platform. The Breadfruit Collective, like the breadfruit that you would eat. The Breadfruit Collective. We have a website. We're very popular on social media. We use it. That's one of the most popular tool we use is Instagram. So we're always there and always prompt in responding to persons. So I would definitely encourage persons to reach out there.
Okay, lovely. Thanks. And the Breadfruit Collective is a very unique name. And, I follow the work that you guys are doing. And I just want to say, continue the great work. I want to say a special thank you to Angel, Eeshwari, and Dominique, for taking the time out maybe from your busy schedules to be here and to share your views on today's topic. It was a great conversation. And I do look forward to staying connected with each of you.
Same here.
Yes. And with that being said, I want to say thank you to those persons who tuned in to, be a part of our discussion this afternoon on stress and mental well-being in young adults. It was a very fruitful discussion, which falls under our Communities Responding in Emergencies project, which is funded by the delegation of the European Union in Guyana. I want to say thank you and do enjoy the rest of your day. I am Tiana Jordan saying goodbye.